Alma, are you ready?
I am.
King Limhi, thank you for being with us.
We look forward to your words today, King Mosiah.
My people, I have commanded that you should be gathered together today that I may read the records of the people of Zenith.
Travis Wingitzel. So you're skipping the Sabbath today, right? To save people's lives? Spreading the word? You do know that's biblical, right? Ox in the mire. It's okay to save lives, thus first responders. But yet in the state of Utah, Mormons don't want to be a first responder because they have to work on Sundays. It's too bad that you're worshiping Lucifer. You're calling him Jesus. Jesus is the Christian abomination. If you're not going to do your research, you have only yourself to blame for being ignorant. 9th of Av. I am inspired with what I watch. If you've been watching over the years, you hear me talking about the show I'm watching, and you'll notice that the certain topics of videos correspond with the show that I had watched. Comments that I make refer to the show that I had watched. I'm talking about the redheads in the show. Yep, NCIS and their redhead. That's what I'm watching now. I just finished. And I'm just going, man, I did it again. I did it again. This was season 20, the season finale, and season 21 has already been shown on TV, but most of you may not remember it and aren't looking for it and watching it. And so only those of us who buy the DVDs so that we can convert them into a digital format so that we can watch them anytime we want and not be subject to a power outage for the whole United States power grid by a little Russian redhead who's daddy's little princess. Well, and I caught it, just like I did with not Jason Bourne, the other American version, not Mission Impossible. When is that one coming out? I have yet to see that one coming out on DVD. Jack Ryan, where a Mormon was the villain and encoded a secret message to destroy America with a car bomb being put on car haul trucks over the Mexican border. Oh, I'm being cyber terrorized? Seriously? But yeah, I know they're watching me today. YouTube sent me a threat. I warned you, nobody thinks I know anything. And the bad guys think that they are smarter, that they're going to get away with it. Yeah, when you compromise the whole federal government, of course you're going to get away with it. But I gotcha. So yeah, fire sale. That's what you need to be expecting for the 9/11 event. And I caught it. Parker said it. When given a code by the text from the one Daddy's Prince, or was it the other guy? Doesn't matter. He said, check for this date in history to see if there's any significant correspondence for the coding. What have I been doing this whole time? What is the significance of 9th Ave this whole time? You see, the enemy do not get inspired. They think they are, but they steal. That's the best they can do. They have to take from movies and TV shows, from other people, and create their crime. And so thus the enemy for 9th Ave stole their whole plot and playbook from the Bible. The Bible of the Jews gave you prophecies and dates for the fulfillment of those prophecies. And they, being the villains, are carrying out their role on purpose to coordinate their attack. And they think they're clever, they think that they're inspired, that nobody's going to get them, and they don't understand. Why were astronomers being burned at the stake by the Catholic Church? Because they were uncovering a super sacred secret the Catholic Church wanted. Shh. It would mean that the Catholic Church is not true if we use science on the Bible. Right, Mormons? Can't use science on the Book of Mormon. Because then you have to explain cows. There was a cow episode the other day. Yep. So, you know, I wish that by exposing this, that I would prevent them from doing it. But they've got to do it. They're evil. It's what they do. They're incapable of being good. They're incapable of recognizing that what they're doing is wrong and they need to stop. Just like a Russian operative, they think of everyone else around them as the other. They've got a mission to perform, and they are just zombie cold-blooded. They got to get their mission done. And so they use people. They'll have sex with you to compromise you, to give up state secrets. They'll murder you or your family to get what they want, or if they are getting exposed. It's what they do, regardless of whether they're Russian or Islamist. You know, I've heard it time and time again from Mormons when I call out the evils and crimes of a Mormon here in this valley, of what they did to me. And I get people condemning me for having called them out and exposed them, because they would say, they're a good person, I know them personally. Yeah, well, you're a friend or family. You've never crossed them or been the target of an assassination by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. all of a sudden they become a sleeper cell when they're activated by the prophets. And then it's like you don't know who they are. They are a completely different person. Who you thought was a friend, or at least friendly, now has no problem trying to murder you, trying to hurt you, trying to destroy you. So, it's prophesied to happen. And Oakes made it very clear, there is no way to stop it. No righteousness will stop it. It's Oakes, not me. So, yeah, it looks like maybe I won't get to do my Oakes video clips if he's not going to be taking over as president of the church, or at least while America still stands. Like I said, they're going to flee. Anybody been paying attention? Anybody left here in this valley? Those who have them in your ward, are they there at church this Sunday? Or were the prophets out of town this weekend? Which is a common thing, because every Thursdays they get their assignments to go out. But it's not every week. Did they show up at church? See, if I was in contact with Kimberly, I would have contacted her and said, "Hey, Kimberly, President Irene show up at church today?" She would have told me. And then she would have said, "It was really good that you called." Okay. It was really good that you called. Okay, what do you mean by that? Say the words, Kimberly. You're on the phone with me, and you're on a date with a boyfriend. Say what you mean. Don't send me clues and code. We have not had communication about how to interpret each other's codes. God. Memories on the corner of my mind. And so pay attention to the stock market tomorrow. Church already pulled out their money. And so the money that was put in was minimal in comparison to what was taken out. Those are the dumbasses who are only 100,000aires who think that they're going to make it big on the stock market now that they had to sell off, because you buy low and you sell high. Well, the multi-billionaires sold high. They pulled their money. That's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in case you missed the whistleblower. And so, yeah, these other people who think that they're now going to take advantage of the low stocks, that's them. And if they pump it up as they sort of did, not really, watch on Monday, because the church will go, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll take that too." Thank you. So yeah, you got to follow the money trail. Got to see who profits, because there are people who have the inside track. Insider trading is illegal. And so, yeah, anytime tomorrow evening, be aware of a power outage, a fire sale. Be aware of those who claim that they're in America as refugees from their oppressive religion, as they're still wearing the oppressive religion's symbolism clothing. Like I said, people pretend to be one way when there are clues that they will betray you when activated. Islam came from Babylon, the ones who caused the first 9/11 against the Jews. Christians came from Constantine the Roman. Rome caused the second 9/11 against the Jews. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is not a stranger to 9/11. Book of Mormon got started because of 9/11, 1826. An unknown American hero until me saved America and got the Book of Mormon out to warn everybody, and not a single person knows the code until me. And YouTube is the terrorist threat to silence anybody who finds out the code. And they sent me a threat this morning, letting me know that they are planning to shut down my channel so that I can't watch anything. I know what you're up to. You tell a Mormon they're wicked, and they prove it to you. So, because Mormons have decided to be wicked, to be compelled to believe in all things, what's going to happen once destruction hits? Well, the Book of Mormon tells us, in case you didn't know. Mulekites, the Limhites, and even the Nephites. Zoramites, sort of, kind of. They sort of got slaughtered. It was the poor Zoramites that left in advance to go on the Exodus to save themselves. So the Book of Omni tells us about the Mulekites. And there are some people that are thinking that there's an error on the gold plates. I think. Or is it in Mosiah? No, I think it is on the gold plates. I'd have to look it up, but I'm not going to. I don't have it referenced in front of me. But yeah, it's the person was called Benjamin Mosiah, that error. Because it went Mosiah, then Benjamin, then Mosiah, in case you didn't know. And so that was there's a difference as to which Mosiah is being talked about. The Book of Mosiah is the one after Benjamin. But you're trying to figure out literal history when you do that. Okay. We got some other fun stuff here too at the beginning. Verse 4, Now I, Amaron, write the things whatsoever I write, which are few, in the book of my father. Behold, it came to pass that 320 years had passed away, and the more wicked part of the Nephites were destroyed. For the Lord would not suffer, after he had led them out of the land of Jerusalem, Exodus, and kept and preserved them from falling into the hands of their enemies. Came as a thief in the night. He would not suffer that the words should be... He would not suffer that the words should not be verified, which he spake unto our fathers, saying that inasmuch as you will not keep my commandments, ye shall not prosper in the land. Wherefore the Lord did visit them in great judgment. Nevertheless, he did spare the righteous, that they should not perish. Well, how? Well, the righteous are those who weren't magically preserved from the burning fire. They're the ones who left. The ones who were wicked were the ones who didn't believe and stayed and died. I'm different. I am sacrificing my very life to save you. Because apparently I'm the only one who knows about this. I figured out the super sacred secret code. But he did deliver them out of the hands of their enemies. All it was inspiration. You know, when an accident happens, you have people who survive and say, oh, I was going to go into work, but I decided to call in sick. I really wasn't sick, but I just had a feeling that I shouldn't go into work today, and now I know why. You're a lazy bum who only goes to work for the paycheck. You know you're going to get those. Those who do survive. It's not because you're righteous. It's because mankind failed to kill you off in the attack. But you're going to have those people. And so, let's see. Chemish, or Chemish. And Abednadam, and then Malachi. There we go. Verse 12. Now I am Malachi, without king, the son of Abinadam, the king father of blood, Adam. Interesting. Adam, the king father, using PaleoHebrew to figure these out. And Amaleki is a combination of Greek with PaleoHebrew. Melech being king. And that's where the Melech guy comes from. I'm not seeing him in the text. Behold, I speak unto you somewhat concerning Mosiah, who was made king over the land of Zarahemla, which would be the second one, right? Or is it the first one? And then Benjamin, and then, let's read. For behold, he being warned of the Lord that he should flee out of the land of Zarahemla, wait a minute, out of the land of Nephi. So the promised land has been overrun by the Lamanites, and so he fled, being warned. Exodus, before the destruction, like Lehi, before the destruction. One more day, that's it. Nobody's fleeing. And as many as would hearken unto the voice of the Lord should also depart out of the land with him into the wilderness before it happens. You had the Book of Mormon for 200 years. And it came to pass that he did as the Lord commanded him, and they departed out of the land into the wilderness. And so, yeah, and then they meet the people of Mulek, and they're the ones who did the same thing. Sort of, not really. He left before, and then the Mulekites also left Jerusalem at the battle. They survived. Were able to flee. Let's see, and we're led by many preachings and prophesyings. So yes, notice Mosiah, Moses, Yah, the Hebrew God, who is Emmanuel. Ishmael, if you've ever heard me define that for you. The name of Yah is the Sun God, Emmanuel. They were admonished continually by the word of God, and they were led by the power of his arm. So they're doing a contrasting here. Those who leave in advance, which nobody, and those who leave at the destruction having survived, and claiming that you were inspired by Jesus to survive. No, that's how you know it was from the true source. You leave before. You know there's going to be those dumbasses. They discovered a people in the land of Zarahemla, who were called the people of Zarahemla, thus the land of Zarahemla. And so, yeah. Now there was a great rejoicing among the people of Zarahemla, and also Zarahemla did rejoice exceedingly because the Lord had sent the people of Mosiah with the plates of brass. Ezekiel 37. Stake of Joseph, stake of Judah combined together. Because if you're going to be a dumbass and think that it's the Book of Mormon, you've never read 2 Nephi chapter 3, or at least you didn't understand it, because you think it's Jesus somehow with Joseph Smith. Huh? It says right in that text, the Book of Mormon is not the fulfillment of Ezekiel 37. And yet it's in our manuals. And so, the people of Zarahemla, at the time of that Zedekiah, king of Judah, was carried away captive into Babylon, 9th Av. They journeyed in the wilderness and were brought by the hand of the Lord. See? I told you they'd do it. Jesus saved us. We didn't get inspired like Lehi, who was a prophet. We survived. No, you gotta leave in advance. And if you're outside of Utah, no, this is not you having to leave now. No, no. You're not the threat, or in danger of the threat. It's Utah. People who think they're holier than thou. Literally. I'm an outsider of Utah. When I move to Utah, I get told that the Utah Mormons are very different than California Mormons. And the woman that I was talking with said, are you confessing? Because Utah believes that they're the chosen ones over all other Mormons outside. That other Mormons outside have different standards and values is because they're wicked. And only Mormons in this valley are the one true Mormonism. They literally think that. They're about to get humbled. Assuming that the enemy succeeds and doesn't fail again. And at the time that Mosiah discovered them, they had become exceedingly numerous, so they were breeding, having sex, S-E-X, 4-letter word. Nevertheless, they had had many wars and serious contentions. Really? Brought by the hand of the Lord, huh? Well, it's the pride cycle, Travis. My psychologist taught it to me in seminary. And had fallen by the sword from time to time, and their language had become corrupted, doing text language and slang and new definitions of words, corrupted. And they had brought no records with them. I need a ride. And they denied the being of their Creator. What? No, we don't. We believe in the Great Spirit Jesus. Moses, Yah. This is brilliantly written. Brilliantly. Other than that one not. That was funny. Nor the people of Mosiah could understand them. I don't understand you. Oh my hell. We're using the same English words, but you're using different definitions. And you're pushing to have Webster add them into the dictionary to make it confusing. Because you're pulling an anachronism. You created that definition. It is not the definition of the Bible or the Book of Mormon or any of the older texts prior to your creation of the new definition. And it came to pass that Mosiah caused that they should be educated. Amazing. Teaching science. Linguistics. Amazing. He didn't tell them, we're now going to teach the 10 Commandments for you in public school system. Jesus, not the Jewish Christ. It's Jesus. Because we're supreme over the Jews since the Romans destroyed them on 9th Ave. And it came to pass that after they were taught in the language of Moses, Yah, notice it's the language of, hilarious. There's also a Old Testament passage that has every single letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and that one verse also says that it's a prophecy that in the latter days, a new language. And there it is, all letters of the Hebrew alphabet in there. Hilarious. And so yes, the restoration of Paleo-Hebrew. Amazing. Been there, done that, too. Ezekiel 37, yeah. What do you think all this is? You can see a sample of it on academia.edu. And a video the other week, I also explained how the rest of Genesis is to be translated using Abraham to explain how, yes, Joseph is correct with facsimile number 1. Everybody else does not know, and so everybody else are not the authority, and everybody else are saying Joseph is wrong, but they're not the authority. They have no authority to claim Joseph is wrong. They need to say, I don't know, I'm not the authority. And they can't say that because Joseph Smith has to be wrong. And they don't understand. Joseph Smith is right. There was a large stone brought unto him, with engravings on it. And he did interpret the engravings by the gift and power of God. Yeah, I thought it was funny that a guy thought he was going to get me with the Dendera Zodiac. You never saw the video I did explaining the Kinderhook plates. Joseph was brilliant. And everybody misses it. Kinderhook plates. Guy on his deathbed claimed that he and his buddies wanted to expose Joseph as a fraud. And so they took metal plates, forged them, and then carved on them scribbles. And gave it to Joseph Smith and said, "Hey, we know you're a seer. And this is this something? What does it say, Joseph?" Just like the guy with the Zendera Zodiac of Egypt. So yeah. Oh, it sure does. Oh, look at that. March 7th. Huh. With Joseph, these are guys who are evil men trying to trap Joseph Smith to expose him as a fraud, as translator. Not. And Joseph Smith then gives the translation and says it's a descendant of Cain who wrote it. Brilliant! Oh, Joseph. If only Mormons knew. Oh, man. And so, what you're seeing is the third one, the Limhi people. It's the people of Limhi who found, what the plates or was it the stone? Because the people of Limhi were the ones who found let's see if the footnotes help me out with this. I'm pretty sure it's the Limhi one also. And so you're seeing the three combined together because the people of Lehi also left the land of Nephi. Which is weird because so did the people of Mosiah. This doesn't make sense, guys. Senior, what are you doing here? You have to get your story script all done up on a board so that you can script it out for the episodes. Which I do get frustrated with certain TV shows that tend to forget past episodes, and I'm screaming at the screen, "It was done in episode blah 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 a season ago, hello," and they're not talking about it, and they're, "Oh no, what is this, what do we do, I don't know, hello." Script writers, error alert. And so, yeah, I think this is weird because they went back to Nephi. and were subjected unto bondage. And yet Mosiah are the ones who went to this. Although we could excuse it because it says, and it came to pass in the days of Mosiah. So while he was there, then Limhi's people joined them, and hey, we got a stone, blah blah blah. But there, I thought there was plates or something. But 20a, Mosiah 21:28, and now Limhi, Ammon, King Mosiah had a gift from God. He could interpret the engravings. And see, it's like they don't even know each other. But a record, plates of ore. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not the stone. That Omni is saying stone. This is plates of ore. And so this does seem to be an oopsie. Yeah. A large stone brought unto him with engravings on it, and he did interpret it by the gift and power of God. Yeah, that's error alert. Interesting. Well, let's see what Mosiah 28 is. Now he translated them by the means of two stones. Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Who did this, Bruce? Come on. Whoops. Fascinating, the errors you can find. But 9 moons, so a pregnancy period. And it also spake a few words concerning his fathers. And his first parents came out from the tower. They never in the Book of Mormon call it the Tower of Babel. Never. It's always the tower. You need to pay attention to that. Bruce R. McConkie put in the chapter heading of Ether, Tower of Babel. Oops. Error, Bruce. Error. One of many. At the time, the Lord confounded the language of the people. So we assume it's from the Bible. But that has to do with Osiris and his first death. Let's see, Malachi and Mosiah. Let's get to Mulek. Don't make me Google search Mulek. You're going to make me Google search it, aren't you? Yep, you're going to make me Google search it. Or search it. Mulek. 17. Mosiah 25. People of Zarahemla. Let's see, is one particular guy. And now King Mosiah caused that all the people should be gathered together. Now there were not so many of the children of Nephi as there were those of who were descendants of Nephi, as there were of the people of Zarahemla, who was a descendant. Zarahemla, the guy, of Mulek, and those who came with him in the wilderness. And so, yeah, you got Mormons who love to spread the speculation that this is Mulek, the son of Zedekiah, who's a Babylonian, who comes to America, and thus Babylon, and thus would introduce the Sabbath day of the Babylonians. So that Abinadi would... No. No. That is Moses. The man like Moses. That is your Christ, Mormons. We're not so many of the people of Nephi and the people of Zarahemla and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Elma 51 as the city of Mulek. And And city of Mulek, 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 all through Alma. Yeah, here we go. Helaman chapter 6. Yeah, the son of Zedekiah. This is where they get it from. Helaman chapter 6, right before 21 to 24. So Mormons know about it, and they'll only talk about this. They don't want to talk about 21 to 24. And now the land south was called Lehi, and the land north was called Mulek, which was after the son of Zedekiah. For the Lord did bring Mulek into the land north, and Lehi into the land south. So it has nothing to do with the Union and Confederates whatsoever about secret combinations of the Confederates. None whatsoever. Don't go there. And so, talking about the plates of brass in Helaman 8:21. Talking about Abraham, that even since the days of Abraham, there have been many prophets that have testified these things. I would love to see the Dead Sea Scrolls to make sure that that is an H and not a Yea, behold, the prophet Zenos did testify boldly, for which he was slain. I found that in the Egyptian documents, by the way, in case you didn't know. Also Zenock, yep, he's in the Egyptian documents. And Isaiah, yep, he's there too. And also Isaiah, yeah, he's there. Jeremiah, he's there. Jeremiah being the same prophet who testified of the destruction of Jerusalem. I thought it was Isaiah. And now we know that Jerusalem was destroyed, according to the words of Jeremiah. Oh, then why not the Son of God come? What's the point of God coming? What does that have to do with 9th of Av? According to his prophecy. If you don't know his prophecy, it's Jeremiah 23, starting in verse 5. House of David, Messiah ben David Moses the third. And now will you dispute that Jerusalem was destroyed on 9th of Av? Will you say that the sons of Zedekiah were not slain, all except it were Mulek? Babylon. That is a prophecy. And it goes back to the tower. The first death of Osiris. You have to know your Egyptian stories to know what they're saying here. Because he comes out of the great and abominable church. Section 103, verse 16. And 2 Nephi chapter 3, verse 5. He comes after Joseph Smith, which means he comes from the church that insurrectioned Joseph's erected church to resurrect Joseph's erected church that had been insurrected by Brigham Young. Yea, and do ye not behold that the seed of Zedekiah are with us? And they were driven out of the land of Jerusalem. Our father Lehi was driven out of Jerusalem. Yeah, but he left in advance. When Nephi was only 8 years old, max. Yep, 8-year-old boys able to impersonate big, fat men with deep voices. When it's time to change. 8 years old, yep. Because he testified of these things. Nephi also testified of these things. Testified of the coming of Christ. Manifest himself by spiritual witness feelings. And redeemed. There's the atonement. Because he fulfills it. See, that's, you don't, oh my God. Christianity, such an abomination. Yeah, Jesus atoned for us when he came. He just failed to save the Jews. And so he gets a second chance in the latter days. But he atoned for us. Yeah, the first resurrection already happened, and then it stopped during the Dark Ages after the creation of Christianity. Only to be started up again in the latter days. When he comes again, after failing the first time. Oh, you X-Foes, you think that the Book of Mormon has its problems being literal history? You have never even bothered to check in your Bible. Which you know is plagiarized in the Book of Mormon. Yep. And so, yeah, what is interesting with the Limhi situation is that King Noah, he stays behind and dies. He's burned. I'm willing to bet Nelson is staying behind. He's almost 100. He's already on his deathbed as they're giving us clues. If you've been paying attention to my church news videos. And so the 12 apostles that have to have enough to form a quorum, so that when those who remain behind because of age die off, that those apostles can meet together outside of the United States that will be at civil war with the attack that will happen. They can then set apart the oldest ranking person to be the leader, and then after the war dies down and America is just one big ash heap, they come back and say, hey, we're here, anybody remaining? Oh, no, okay. Well, Mormons from around the world come to America. It's fair game now. We can now build Zion. I'm now the president, in case you didn't know. Who would it be? Would it be Gong? Can't be Gong. He's not even number 6 in rank. I did keep that after the last failed attempt to reference that. So you have to have 6 to form a quorum and thus conduct business. And I don't know if I labeled it correctly. And the one thing good about all this is that I can no longer worry about doing videos anymore. Right, YouTube? And finally retire. Focus on survival. Get into Zion and get to work on the large plates of Nephi. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rasband. At the very minimum, it would be Rasband. See, the lower 6, they don't know what the above 6 know. This has already been exposed by a guy living in his car in Northern California. I'm drawing a blank on his name at the moment. It's been a long time since I've heard from him and talked about him. But yeah, he talks about how when you become an apostle, you get $1 million of bribery to keep the sacred covenant oath. It's the same thing that Russia did to the church. When the church wanted to do business in Russia, a major city, you have to be determined in Russia. Yeah, no. That was a business deal. The church gave them money, and they used it to attack Ukraine. And the Russians then gave the church money, $32 billion. They laundered it into the stock market for Russia through a half a dozen LLC companies. That was exposed by Fox 13 News Utah by Max Roth in May, right after that conference. And thanks to Orrin Hatch and the rushed bill that got passed before the end of 2017, right before Monson died, so that they could have the law take effect on their brand new LLC corporations that they were using for this money that they got from Russia. And then, wasn't it last year? Or was it earlier? It was last year, wasn't it? Man, that was forever ago. Dear God. That the SEC finally busts the church. Really, was it last year? It wasn't this year. It had to have been this year. Because it took forever. Dear God, do we dare get shut down again? We've been doing good. They've left me alone after that first attack. Yeah, you ever wonder what it would be like to not have access to your internet? Stay tuned. In the coming hours. Oh my God, it was last year. February. Oh my hell. 4 million, it was 5 million. Yeah. What the hell? Because the church is saying 5 million. SEC.gov is saying 4 million. There must be an extra million thrown in for something else that's involved in there. I don't know. But yeah, that is also weird because it's Ensign Peak that's agreeing to pay this money rather than the church, because these were other things. But yeah, it was the 32 billion that Max Roth exposed, which came from Russia. But that's how they work. They compromise you. They get you to commit crimes for them, just like the church does to every single Mormon. You have to pay the church money. And then they, in return, demand that you go out on your missions, pay for it yourself, and then recruit other people to pay the church. Pyramid scheme. It's a crime. And then the prostitution, and the extortion threat, and protection racket. You know, all the list of crimes are in Section 119. Every single lawyer knows it who's still Mormon. It doesn't make any sense why you're a lawyer and a Mormon, other than you're a criminal lawyer. Not for criminals, a criminal lawyer. A lawyer who commits crimes. And so, yeah, everybody knows that lawyers lie. In New Canaan, it was a ward of lawyers. And so, yes, priesthood meeting when I went to them. Lawyer jokes. All lesson long. Dear God. So yeah, everybody knows lawyers are corrupt. It's pathetic. But yeah, they get paid by having business. And so they've got to do what the Book of Mormon says and commit crime to be able to have a paycheck. And so yeah, Rasbon. And so the top 3 are also in the top 6 who get extra information. And so everybody down to Anderson definitely knows about what's going to happen on Tuesday. So again, are those top 6 still in Utah? Most likely. But are the bottom 6, or did they get sent out on an assignment and won't be back until, oh, I was going to come back, and then I heard that Utah got destroyed, and so I got to stay here for my protection. Yippers. So yeah, pay attention. Depending on how successful the enemy are, how well they've planned this, how well they're able to get away with it, it's going to be a bloodbath. So yeah, we're pretty much done now with all this. I did the work. Didn't think I would. Was coming up with extras to add to it. And there is, because I never even touched the Bible. You saw the video this morning. I touched the Bible. Daniel. That's what you're supposed to get out of that thumbnail picture. Islam came from Babylon. Christians came from Rome. 9th Ave. And so here we got 9th Ave. The whole scriptures warn about 9th Ave and the destruction. They give you the date of the start of the latter days, 2017. Not just the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, the Bible. And so yeah, the last day of the last year of the latter days, it's here. Depending on which calendar of the Jews you're using, which is technically the Babylonian calendars. Both of them have a solar eclipse this year, of all years, on the last day. And so, yeah, the new year, in the first year, 21st of August 2017, that was the ancient Egyptian religious calendar New Year. And then here on the last year, both last days of the Jewish calendars, last of day of the year, solar eclipses. Solar eclipse to start it, 2 solar eclipses to end it. Dear God, why am I the only one who found this? But yeah, there's nothing I can do to break through the enemy's powers. They're the enemy. They're in control, they're in power. And so it's a miracle if you're able to find these videos. But what are you going to do with them? Are you going to complain? No, the church is true. You're the enemy. You're not studying your scriptures, Travis. Your room's a mess. You're ugly. Any excuse to say the church is true. Just trying to save your life and you didn't care. And now, if or when it happens, I'm just going to be crying. And people are going to be saying, why didn't we get protected? How did this happen? I'm just going to be shaking my head. Oh my hell. You got the warning voice and you rejected it. You were notified in advance, and instead you stayed behind to loot the store so that you can get the big screen TV during the tornado. And then you're complaining that your car was taken up by the tornado as you were in the store robbing them of the big screen TV and have no car to take it back home with. And you're complaining about how hard your life is, that you no longer have a car, that you weren't warned about the tornado. You know, after World War II, there was a whole bunch of Polish jokes like that. In America, we call them redneck jokes. During the 80s, they were called blonde jokes. Oh my